Now, our industry, of course, as everyone knows, is global. And our next keynote speaker brings you intelligence on new opportunities to grow outside of the United States, and more specifically, a way to connect with China's 1.3 billion consumers. Jingming Li is president of Ant Financial Americas, which you may also know by the name of Alipay. In this role, Jingming works with US retailers and brands, enabling them to unlock the enormous potential of China's e-commerce market through a solution that incorporates cross-border payment, streamlined logistics, and localized marketing. Before I welcome Jingming to the stage, Ant Financial Services and Alipay have produced a video for all of us to enjoy.
现在的话，支付宝在中国的话呢，我觉得应该算是生活必需品了。
已经基本上是所有人的手机上都有了。
就是有点像一个移动的钱包，身上可能不需要带很多钱，也不需要带很多卡，
然后只要有个手机、有个网络，就可以马上支付。
我们村里啊，用淘宝、支付宝的人也很多的。淘宝上买东西嘛，基本上都是用支付宝支付的嘛。
水电煤也都是上面付的，电话费也都是上面付的。
很多的生活上日常所需要购买的东西，服装啊、鞋子啊，还包括我去的一些消费，基本上都会和阿里巴巴的支付宝挂钩。
去年 Black Friday 的时候，在 Keynote 上买了一些衣服啊、包包啊什么之类的，价格又便宜，然后还可以用支付宝，我觉得挺好的。
主要就是客户也是转淘宝拍我的商品，然后他直接就是转账到支付宝上。
我所有的校园卡都是在淘宝上面、支付宝上面充的。
Uber 这个软件很方便，就直接在那边按一下就租个车，它完全省略了就是支付的这个环节。
不花什么钱的话，把支付宝里面的钱转入余额宝里面，因为里面有利息嘛。
Alipay is the world's leading third-party payment platform and the most trusted and most widely used payment service provider in China. As of the end of 2013, the number of Alipay registered users reached 300 million, with more than 200 partner financial institutions. Alipay handles over 80 million transactions daily, 45 million of which are through mobile payment accounts. Chinese consumers have embraced online shopping faster and more completely than anywhere else. McKinsey estimates that China's e-commerce market could be worth as much as $650 billion in 2020. In 2014, on China's largest online shopping day, November 11th, Singles Day, Alipay processed $9.3 billion in sales in just 24 hours. Chinese consumers are increasingly interested in high-quality international brands. In 2014, Chinese consumers spent more than $164 billion outside of China.
现在有一些我经常买的国外的品牌呢，会去他们那些天猫的直营店买，官方认证的，觉得信任度比较高。
应该说，衣食住行都会和它有所关联吧。
基本上是不可或缺的一个支付平台。
Let's learn together about more opportunities to engage China's 1.3 billion consumers through payments partnerships. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Jingming Li.
Thanks, Jason, and thanks ETA to give me the opportunity to speak here. I'm very excited to be here. I spent 10 years in China before I came back to US. And 2 years ago, I started Alipay US. I want to take this opportunity to share what I see, the opportunity, why I came back, and the opportunity, how we can work together. But let me begin by bringing you back 30 years ago. And I want to see, I'm not sure if any one of you actually know what this is. Anyone recognize this? Think about it, not long ago, in 1985, China still was in food rationing. This is actually a food rationing coupon. This coupon tells you that if you hold this ticket, you can buy a little bit over a pound of rice in March of 1985, exactly 30 years ago, in the city of Beijing, Beijing only, and it's only for rice. And when I was little, I get about 20 to 30 of them. That was a quota for amount of food I can get when I was for that month. Of course, in 1985, things began to change. And it's quite a bit change, actually. We're in Moscone Center. A few blocks away, you will find San Francisco Shopping Center. And a few blocks away, that direction, you'll find Union Square. You're probably going to see a lot of Chinese tourists. They're buying a lot of things. And much more different is that they probably buying things with their cell phone on their hand. It's most likely iPhone 6. And they probably buying and talking, buying and browsing or texting. They do something a little bit different, a little bit strange. I will explain why is that and a little bit later. And the matter of fact is that in 2014, there are over 110 million trips were made by the Chinese tourists. And along the way, they spent $164 billion. They became the top spending tourist group. Hundreds of millions of Chinese were lifted out of poverty in just a matter of 30 years. And it is estimated that over 630 million people will be in the middle class by 2020. It is probably the largest social shift we have seen in recent human history. And it actually presents a very, very good opportunity for all of us. The recent affluent Chinese, they are eager and hungry to see the world with their open eyes. A lot of them take a plane, they travel here, they buy the tickets. But even more, they see the world through the internet, and they want to see differently. What you see here is a live snapshot of November 11, 2014. In that day, in just a matter of 24 hours, over 9.3 billion US dollars was spent on Alibaba properties, our e-marketplaces. And what's so different? November 11 is something we call Singles Day. It's basically a made-up shopping holiday. It is a cyber version of Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And instead of waiting outside Best Buy or waiting outside Walmart, waiting for the Black Friday, the door open, millions of Chinese will go to Tmall website or go to Taobao website, placing the items they want in the shopping basket. And they will wait exactly at 0 seconds, 0 minutes of 0 hours of November 11th. And millions of people are going to hit the buy button at exactly same time. And I was running the Singles Day from 2010 and till 2005, 3 in a row, and 2012, sorry. And it was always a very nerve-wracking moment for me because it is just a sudden spike of the transaction volume and always makes me nervous. But however, people will ask why. It's actually a simple, very, very simple. You may have recently visited big cities like Beijing or Shanghai. You will see very modern buildings, very fancy shopping malls, and very well built, actually, very new infrastructure and fat-packed with people. However, this generation of Chinese, they grew up with internet, and they're armed with mobile, and they are probably the first practical practitioners of omni-channel, mobile commerce. People still go to shopping malls, but in there, they will actually see, they'll compare the price between what they see there in the shopping mall and what's in online. And most likely, they will probably place the order online through mobile, most likely. And for a lot of people who live in the second, third tier city, they don't actually see the shopping, they don't actually have this kind of shopping mall. So what they do, they still want to enjoy the same life experience they have. So they will probably use their mobile phone or their internet to place the order. So e-commerce in China is actually a mainstream. So that's why we have single state, that's why we have the $9.3 billion was sold in just 24 hours. It is about searching for the best value for your money. And they don't do that just within the boundaries of China. You may have heard, or you may have actually seen the Great Wall of China. There's an online version of that too. But I'm not going to go there. And the internet really has no borders. Even, many of you I know is some merchant acquirers. Even if a merchant probably have never supported explicitly about a credit card or debit card issued by Chinese bank. Your merchant may never actually support the international shipping specifically to China. You will end up find out it's surprisingly a lot of merchandise will actually end up in China. Because it is simply because that people are searching for the best value wherever they can find. They will find a creative way to get that merchandise back. For digital, there's no problem. For airline tickets, for things like that, there's no problem. But for physical goods, they will find a way. That's why you see the people buying and talking in San Francisco in the Union Square, they probably are shopping agent, meaning that people in China just ask them to go there, buy something for me, because they just through cell phone, they find the deal. Say, go there, buy something for me. That's one thing. The second thing is that even if they couldn't deploy a shopping agent, what they end up doing that is that they probably going to register a forwarding service. So merchant will simply deliver things to that forwarding address, and it looks like a domestic sale. And the warehouses, the delivery service will take the responsibility from there and be able to deliver to China. So this is a new industry. In the last few years, an industry called Haitao, literally meaning searching the treasure over the seas. I mean, early days, America looked like the same way. This is a new industry, and it's going very strong. In my last trip to Paris, just a few months ago, I met with the CEO of a startup company, and it's a German company. He told me that 4 years ago, he figured out a way to sell diapers on internet only for German domestic market. It is very, very simple. Selling diapers is a very thin margin business in Germany. And when he got his website up, all of a sudden, it's all those Chinese are coming. And it entirely took him surprise. Then he has no choice but to say, I have to support the Chinese local form of payment that happened to be Alipay. And it ends up in half of the entire his merchandise was sold to China. And last year, his website sold over 100 million euro worth of diapers and baby formulas and everything. And it is that his website now is one of the top European destinations for Chinese shopping over the internet. So that's the power, because we are, just like Ren said, we are connected through internet. Everyone is connected. It's just a matter of how would you actually find the right people have the kind of things delivered. And it's become one single global shopping mall. Here are the real faces we found over Weibo. Weibo is the blog post of the Chinese version of a blog post. We found people like Ya Jing, and she was showing off what she bought over Macy's in the last Black Friday. And the person in the middle, Ning is actually a Taobao model. She actually was the person who in the NYSE ran the IPO bell in last September of Alibaba's IPO. So I have all these real people. They are the real faces behind the Haitao movement, the Buy International. And we have conducted our own survey. It turns out over 59% of people said they will buy internationally, given the choice, given the convenience. And the industry is about $34 billion already. It is still very early. It's still not smooth, People still have to do a lot of guess and education on exactly what to do, but it is there. It's there for a reason. So I came back for 2 years, and over the last 2 years, I have talked with a lot of CEOs and executives in the retail industry. And clearly to me is that how to go to China, how to tap into 1.3 billion people, and in one of the fastest economy is in their mind. China still remains mysterious for many of them. There are very different ways to go to China. There's certainly a traditional way of doing that. I know one of the most iconic US names. They went to China, and they opened up their first ever restaurant in Guangzhou, just near Hong Kong. And they opened up that restaurant in 1990s. And over the next 10 years, it's still just that restaurant, no more. Just one, the entire 10 years. And for the next 10 years, things began to very different. And they are appearing every major corners of every major cities in China. And they became one of the most favorite place for people have a quick breakfast, have a quick lunch, and the experience is good. But examples like that are far and between. Many more business goes to in China will say, oh, they're really hard to understand the local regulations, and it's very hard to find to organize the right merchandise for the right segment of consumers. So many businesses actually went to China and failed, and still trying to understand why. I think there are better ways. Internet has changed the people fundamentally, and think about it. If you have a digital presence of your business, you are already connected with millions, hundreds of millions of people. It's just a matter of how would you attract them actually to your business, physically or digitally, however track to them, and have the right way to service them in terms of merchandising, and enable their favorite way of payment, however that be, and able to do the conversion and able to do the last mile delivery, able to service them. So that still remains a challenging position, even if you have. So it is very, very possible for a lot of business, you can have your own existing website to service China in the far away, and able to educate them, able to tell them what you have in server, able to support their way of transaction, and able to deliver. So that's where I'm pretty sure that we can help. Over the past 15 years, we at Alibaba and Alipay, we had built an infrastructure for e-commerce in China. Taobao is the default place for consumer-to-consumer e-commerce. And you can just find just about everything in Taobao.com. A farmer in a remote village of Tibet can use just his cell phone and be able to sell his produce, local produce, all over China, use Taobao. And I have actually seen a report that I think that just 2 years ago, a girl who is going to home for Chinese New Year, and she's so afraid her parent of her not have a relationship, she even rent a boyfriend over the Taobao, and just to get rid of parental pressure. So it is. I mean, it's very versatile. It's just about everything. And the Tmall is a virtual premium space for mall, for brand names. There are over 70,000 brands in Tmall, and it's the largest business-to-consumer place. You must have read, just recently, Amazon just opened the Tmall store. It just opened a store in Tmall. And Costco opened a store in Tmall Global. It's an international version of Tmall. So Alipay is underneath payment mechanism to connect everything together. We're connecting with all the banks, over 200 of them in China. There's not so many banks like the US. It's just very few, but very big banks in China. And we connect all of them together. We are the default wallet for people buy things over the internet. Over the last year, we worked with our partners on officially launched ePass program. E-Pass program is meant to open up our existing infrastructure to US and European businesses so that they can take the same advantage as a Taobao store would have and be able to tap into Chinese consumers. And we'll take the hard work of how would you clear Chinese custom clearance, how would you do international shipping. So we take the hard work out of you, and we're able to sell to China, so you'll be able to settle in the Chinese, you'll be able to accept the Chinese RMB. On the consumer side, we put Alipay, and we'll put trust on your website where people will know this is something I can contact with, and they will enjoy the experience, the same experience they will buy from Taobao and from Tmall. Last year, we also did one more thing, is that we have put all the financial related services under one umbrella, and we call ourselves Ant Financial. So that's where the introduction is. And so the Ant Financial will contain not only the payment business, but it will contain Alipay wallet, and also insurance and banking services, which will coming up soon. So last Black Friday, with E-Pass, we worked with some major department stores. You can see here, like Macy's, Neiman Marcus, Saks, and Bloomingdale's. For the first time, we bring the US Black Friday into China. And for millions of Chinese, that was their first real taste of what US Black Friday looks like. And the response was phenomenal. A lot of Chinese consumers, for the first ever time, they can, over the internet, they can use Alipay to buy from Macy's, from Bloomingdale's, and we see the sales volume increase dramatically. It's something I haven't seen for many years. And we also worked with Guild. And when the Guild worked with Alipay, their sales increased for more than 100%. I'm sure a lot of you probably don't know what iHerb is. What I'm trying to say is that it is not only for big businesses. iHerb is relatively unknown in the US. It is a company in LA, in Southern California. When they worked with us, within the first 6 months, their sales volume increased by 693% in just a matter of 6 months. It is one of the most recognized names in China when it comes to buy vitamins, buy health-related products, baby diapers, milk, all this stuff. And that's the power of platform. This is my personal favorite story. Last February, we worked with Uber and to go to China. And so now, if you are in China, you have your Uber application. If you are physically in China, and you can use your Uber application to book a car, just the same application that you already have. And there's actually Alipay will show up, and you can actually use Alipay to pay for the Uber. But for many Chinese, they're already in there. Sure, you can. You can use Alipay to book the Uber. So about 3 weeks ago, I was in Hangzhou in China. Hangzhou is where the Alibaba's headquarters is. And so in my hotel, I want to get to my office, and it's very hard to get the taxi. So I just check how Uber doing. So that's actually the real image I have in the middle. And to my surprise, quite a bit cars are there. So I used the black service, and there's a big Mercedes pull over to the Marriott I stayed in Hangzhou. And I jumped to the car. The Uber driver told me that, well, he's not a professional Uber driver. He's driving the Uber just trying to understand how Uber could spread in China so fast. Very short period. I haven't seen something like this. It grew very, very, very rapidly. And he told me that he is a CEO of a Chinese local startup company. And when he learned that I'm actually working for Alipay, he got more excited. He said one day, when his company gets a little bit bigger, he wants to use Alipay to sell to the consumers, and one day he can make NASDAQ. So that's the entrepreneurship right now you see in the ground of China. Many, many people just want to work hard and get rich. That's the mentality. And same thing for the Uber. And it is also something I haven't seen for recent years, how fast they grow in China. So today, I'm very, very excited to announce that Delta Airlines one of the leading US carriers that service China is now accepting Alipay today. And for millions of Chinese, now they can buy tickets at Delta.com that buy Delta Airline directly. So I'm very pleased. I think the head of global payment of the Delta Airline, Charles, is somewhere in the audience. So I'm very excited that Delta working with us. It's one of the first major US carriers that is working with us. I'm hoping that, I'm sure there are going to be more coming. So 20 years ago, actually almost exactly 20 years ago, there's a very little company out of nowhere called Netscape. They changed the world, and they start as the internet, as we know, a commercial internet as we know today. And over the past 15 years, Alibaba has built an infrastructure for Chinese, for hundreds of millions of Chinese. And there's no reason for any company that want to go to China, I want to go that in a digital way, use the internet way, cannot work with us to sell to the 300 million members that we already have. And there's 1.3 billion consumers in China, billion people in there. So they can, and I'll work with you all, work together to bring the merchant, to open up business opportunities for China. There's no reason why we can't work to that. That's the very reason I came back. I see there's a huge opportunity that a US business and partners, we can all work together to tap into. And this is not really about China. And there's probably about 200 million people, the same status in Russia, another 400 million people in Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and another 400 million people in Latin America. We can all work together to really build a global infrastructure to be able for people in those countries, including China, can buy into US business and enjoy same life status, enjoy the same experiences that the US residents they could have. They don't have to come to Union Square just to buy things. They can, at the home, they can buy this. It is still very early stage building out a global e-commerce infrastructure. And I'm sure we can all work together to build that and to be really a truly global infrastructure. Thank you very much.